Why is he not a starter? He scores every time he comes in. He's much better than that no-good so-and-so. How many times have we heard people say this before? There are so many examples, past, present. Essentially, these are players who don't possess enough quality to be starters, but then circumstances bring these guys late into matches where, before we know it, they score a couple of decisive goals, in turn falling into the grace of fans. In a short amount of time, an illusion is created that these players are much better than what they appear to be. For a while, São Paulo club Corinthians had one of these guys. Tupãzinho was his name. In 1990, he was made, scoring the goal that gave him their first league title. He stayed there almost 6 years, almost always in the bench. An emblematic player who was called by the coach in game situations that required him to add fire to the match. Immediately, when motioned to the sideline, a roar came from the crowd. He'd eventually score or participate in plays that led to goals. Most of the time, he didn't. But it didn't matter. People were convinced he was their savior. In a case where the mystique surrounding him took on a whole different form, becoming bigger than the player. The talisman player is almost like the morning horoscope you find in the newspaper. If it's wrong, no one remembers. But if it's right, a miracle. Selective memory turns the talisman player into a problem solver. This guy gets the job done. But looking in from the outside, he's one with far more charisma than ability. As a starter, Tupãzinho never really stood out, far from being a star. But the near unconditional backing of fans and that convenient selective memory brought an almost blinding mystique defying reason. 25 years on, and despite being in a tight financial situation, Corinthians unsuccessfully tried bringing big-name stars like Theo Gutierrez to replace departed club's idols. In the end, they were forced to accept a subpar Wagner Love, whose 5 goals in 23 games is simply not good enough for someone earning $150,000 per month. His underperformance reached a limit that ultimately made way, not for a new signing, but for someone they quietly had all along. 22-year-old Luciano, who with patience showed improvement and incredible willpower that captured their coach in the perfect moment, almost like a story plot. Luciano is just like Tupãzinho from the early 90s, not incredibly talented, but grounded and able to accept whatever comes his way. Well, 5 decisive goals in the last 3 games and a wage increase for the kid has them in the lead, right at the halfway line of the season. A promising season, promising for Corinthians and their talisman, Luciano. We're specifically drawn to the unknown, in this case, the mystique of the situation, because unlike factual life, it isn't rational. We're almost sedated by it, abolishing all reason. Not everyone likes players like Tupãzinho and Luciano, but those late goals they score bring us that delectable sensation, a sensation we desperately cling to, one that ultimately is a component of faith, and faith is what counterbalances the secular and statistical-based world of modern football. Who are your favorite talismans or lucky charm type of players? Comment below. I'll get back to every single one of you. And don't forget to subscribe in order to automatically receive these and more content when they're uploaded. I'll see you guys next week.